the second treatise of the great Seth. This Nag Hammadi text I find very fascinating, with all the connections to Hermeticism and the Bible. I am in you and you in me, like I am in the Father and the Father is in me. This is referring to the I guess the sun, the symbol of the sun, the soul at the solar plexus, and this idea of two and one. Getting kind of complex here. Anyway, I just wanted to listen to the rest of this, and let's start right here.
I come from above and am incarnated. Let us gather an assembly together. Let us visit the creation of his. Let us send someone forth in it, so that he may visit the thoughts in the regions below. And I said these things to the whole multitude of the great assembly of the rejoicing majesty. The whole house of the Father of truth rejoiced that I am the one who is from them. I reflected upon the thoughts that came out of the undefiled spirit about the descent upon the water, that is, the regions below. And they all had a single mind, since it is from one source. They ordered me, and because I was willing, I came forth to reveal the glory to my kindred and my fellow spirits. For those who were in the world had been prepared by the will of our sister Sophia, she who is a whore, because of her innocence that has not been uttered. And she did not ask anything from the realm of all, nor from the greatness of the assembly, nor from the pleroma, when she previously came forth to prepare lodgings and places for the Son of Light and the fellow workers. She took materials from the elements below to build bodily dwellings from them. But having come into being in an empty glory, they ended in destruction in the dwellings in which they were. Since they were prepared by Sophia, they stand ready to receive the life-giving word of the ineffable one and the greatness of the assembly of all those who persevere and those who are in me. I visited a bodily dwelling. I cast out the one who was in it first, and I went in. And the whole multitude of the rulers became troubled. And all the matter of the rulers as well as all the powers born of the earth were shaken when they saw the likeness of the image, since it was.
When it says, I cast out the one who is in there, and then I dwelled in it, that could be interpreted as something like, kind of like evil or weird. But it also could be casting out the archons which govern and rule the body. It seems like the body is not looked upon nicely whatsoever. The body is the instrument of the rulers, I guess. So perhaps it's referring to that.
And all the matter of the rulers as well as all the powers born of the earth were shaken when they saw the likeness of the image, since it was mixed. And I was the one who was in the image, not resembling him who was in the body first. For he was an earthly man, but I am from above the heavens. I did not refuse them even to become Christ, but I did not reveal myself to them in the love that was coming forth from me. I revealed that I am a stranger to the regions below. The rulers are disturbed. There was a great disturbance in the whole earthly area, with confusion and flight, as well as in the plan of the rulers. And some were persuaded when they saw the wonders that were being accomplished by me. And all those fled, those of the race that descended from the one who fled from the throne to the Sophia of hope, since she had earlier given the sign concerning us, and all the ones with me, those of the race of Adonios. Others also fled, as those sent from the world ruler and those with him, and brought every kind of punishment upon me.
I need to research on that term, the race of Adonias. Huh.
Others also fled, as those sent from the world ruler and those with him, and brought every kind of punishment upon me. And there was a flight of the mind about what they would counsel concerning me, thinking that their own greatness is all, and speaking false witness, moreover, against the human and the whole greatness of the assembly. It was not possible for them to know who is the Father of truth, the human of greatness. They took the name because of contact with ignorance, which is a burning and a vessel created to destroy Adam, whom they had made, in order to cover up those who were theirs in the same way. But they, the rulers of the place of Yaldabaoth, revealed the realm of the angels which human beings were seeking because they did not know the human of truth. For Adam, whom they had formed, appeared to them. And a fearful disturbance came about throughout their entire dwelling, lest the angels surrounding them rebel. For on account of those who were offering praise I died, but not really, because their archangel was vacuous. The world ruler tries to kill me. And then a voice of the world ruler came to the angels, I am God and there is no other God but me. But I laughed joyfully when I examined his conceit. But he went on to say, who is the human? And the entire host of his angels who had seen Adam and his dwelling were laughing at his smallness. And thus did the thought come to be removed outside the majesty of the heavens, away from the human of truth, whose name they saw, since he is in a small dwelling place. They are foolish and senseless in their empty thought, namely, the laughter, and it was contagion for them. The whole greatness of the fatherhood of the Spirit was at rest in its places. And I was with him, since I have a thought of a single emanation from the eternal ones and the unknowable ones, undefiled and immeasurable.
A thought of a single emanation. If you study Kabbalah and the emanation down from Kether, so down from the above, down from the Father, in these spheres that ever grow wider, the thought of the single emanation also reminds me of the Emerald Tablet of Hermes and the meditation of one mind, as it describes the operation of the sun, which is essentially emanating from one single point, right? And the operation of the sun, this massive transmutation and this oneness with spirit and life force all around, right, is emanating from one central point that is also within you at your solar plexus. And all this ties together into dwelling in fullness and not deficiency. Dwelling in that small place I just mentioned, dwelling in that deficiency, is kind of like you have your dot at the solar plexus, your spark of divinity. And then divinity or spirit or the Holy Spirit rests in this ocean all around you. But in between that spark and the ocean is darkness, deficiency, right? So you're in a small place. The thought of the single emanation is piercing through all of that to reconnect and make the outside like the inside. I think that's some deep gnosis right there.
I placed the small thought in the world, having disturbed them and frightened the whole multitude of the angels and the ruler. And I was visiting them all with fire and flame because of my thought. And everything pertaining to them was brought about because of me. And there came about a disturbance and a fight around the seraphim and cherubim, since the glory will fade, and there was confusion around Adonios on both sides and around the dwelling, up to the world ruler and the one who said, let us seize him. Others again said, the plan will certainly not materialize. For Adonios knows me because of hope. And I was in the mouths of lions. And as for the plan that they devised about me to release their error and the senselessness, I did not succumb to them as they had planned. And I was not afflicted at all. Those who were there punished me, yet I did not die in reality but in appearance, in order that I not be put to shame by them, because these are my kinsfolk. I removed the shame from me, and I did not become faint-hearted in the face of what happened to me at the hands. I was about to succumb to fear, and I suffered merely according to the sight and thought, so that no word might ever be found to speak about them. For my death, which they think happened to them in their error and blindness, since they nailed the man unto the death. The thoughts did not see me, for they were deaf and blind. But in doing these things, they condemn themselves. Yes, they saw me, they punished me. It was another, the Father, who drank the gall and the vinegar, it was not I. They struck me with the reed, it was another, Simon, who bore the cross on his shoulder. It was another upon whom they placed the crown of thorns. But I was rejoicing in the height over all the wealth of the...
This stuff doesn't really make sense to me. I just want to move on.
the ignorant rulers and the perfect ones. For it was ludicrous. It is I who bear witness that it was ludicrous, since the rulers do not know that this is an ineffable union of undefiled truth, as exists among the children of light, of which they made an imitation, having proclaimed a doctrine of a dead man and lies so as to resemble the freedom and purity of the perfect assembly, and having joined themselves in the doctrine to fear and slavery, worldly cares, and abandoned worship, being small and ignorant, since they do not contain the nobility of the truth. For they hate the one in whom they are and love the one in whom they are not. For they did not know the knowledge of the greatness that it is from above and from a fountain of truth and not from slavery and jealousy, fear, and love of worldly matter. For that which is not theirs and that which is theirs they use fearlessly and freely. They do not desire because they have authority, and they have a law from themselves over whatever they will wish. But those who have not a paw, that is, those who possess nothing, and yet they desire something. And they lead astray those who, through them, have become like those who possess the truth of the freedom, so as to bring us under a yoke and constraint of care and fear. This person is in slavery. And one who is brought by constraint of force and threat has been guarded by God. But the entire nobility of the fatherhood is not guarded, since he guards what is his own by himself, without word and constraint. He is united with his will, he who belongs only to the thought of the fatherhood, to make it perfect and ineffable through the living water, to be with you mutually in wisdom, not only in word of hearing but in deed and fulfilled word. For the perfect ones are worthy to be established in this way and to be united with me, in order that they may not share in any enmity, in a good friendship. I accomplish everything through the good one, for this is the union of the truth, that they should have no adversary. But everyone who brings division, and such a one will learn no wisdom at all, because he brings division and is not a friend, is hostile to them all. But one who lives in harmony and friendship of brotherly love, naturally and not artificially, completely and not partially, this person is truly the desire of the Father. This is the universal one and perfect love. The counterfeit fathers. For Adam was a laughingstock, since he was made a counterfeit type of man by the realm of seven, as if he had become stronger than my brothers and me. We are innocent with respect to him, since we have not sinned. And Abraham and Isaac and Jacob were a laughingstock, since they, the counterfeit fathers, were given a name by the realm of seven, as if he had become stronger than my brothers and me. We are innocent with respect to him, since we have not sinned. David was a laughingstock in that his son was named the human son, having been influenced by the realm of seven, as if he had become stronger than the fellow members of my race and me. But we are innocent with respect to him, we have not sinned. Solomon was a laughingstock, since he thought that he was Christ, having become vain through the realm of seven, as if he had become stronger than my brothers and me. But we are innocent with respect to him. I have not sinned. The 12 prophets were laughingstocks, since they have come forth as imitations of the true prophets. They came into being as counterfeits through the realm of seven, as if he had become stronger than my brothers and me. But we are innocent with respect to it, since we have not sinned. Moses, a faithful servant, was a laughingstock, having been named the friend, since they perversely bore witness concerning him, who never knew me. Neither he nor those before him, from Adam to Moses and John the Baptizer, none of them knew me are my brothers. For they had a doctrine of angels to observe dietary laws and bitter slavery, since they never knew truth, nor will they know it. For there is a great deception upon the soul, making it impossible for them ever to find a mind of freedom in order to know him, until they come to know the human Son. Now concerning my Father, I am he whom the world did not know, and because of this the world rose up against my brothers and me. But we are innocent with respect to it, we have not sinned. For the ruler was a laughingstock because he said, I am God, and there is none greater than I. I alone am the Father, the Lord, and there is no other God but me. I am a jealous God, who brings the sins of the fathers upon the children for 3 and 4 generations. As if he had become stronger than my brothers and me. But we are innocent with respect to him in that we have not sinned, since we mastered his teaching. Thus he is in an empty glory and does not agree with our Father. And so through our fellowship we overcame his teaching, since he was vain in an empty glory. And he does not agree with our Father, for he was a laughingstock with judgment and false prophecy. O you who do not see your blindness, that this is who was not known. They have never known him, nor have they known about him. They did not listen to a reliable report. Therefore they proceeded in a judgment of error, and they raised the defiled and murderous hands against him as if they were beating the air. And the senseless and blind ones are always senseless, always being slaves of law and earthly fear. I am Christ, the human Son. I am Christ, the human Son, the one from you who is in you. I am despised for your sake, in order that you yourselves may forget what is subject to change. And do not become female, lest you give birth to evil and its brothers, jealousy and division, anger and wrath, fear and a divided heart, and empty, non-existent desire. But I am an ineffable mystery to you. Then before the foundation of the world, when the whole multitude of the assembly came together upon the places of the realm of 8, when they had taken counsel, they married spiritually, which is in union. And thus he was perfected in the ineffable places by a living word, and the undefiled wedding was consummated through the mediation of Jesus, who inhabits them all and possesses them, who abides in an undivided power of love. And turning, he appears to himself as the one of all these, a thought and a father, since he is one. And he stands over against them all, since he as a whole came forth alone. And he is life, since he came from the Father of ineffable and perfect truth, the Father of those who are there, the union of peace and a friend of good things, and life eternal and undefiled joy, in a great harmony of life and faith, through eternal life of fatherhood and motherhood and sisterhood and rational wisdom. They had agreed with the mind, who stretches out and will stretch out in joyful union and is trustworthy and faithfully listens. And this is in fatherhood and motherhood and rational brotherhood and wisdom. And this is a wedding of truth, and a repose of incorruption, in a spirit of truth, in every mind, and a perfect light in an unnamable mystery. But this is not, nor will it happen among us, in any region or place in division and breach of peace, but it is in union and a banquet of love, all being perfected in the one who is. It also happened in the places under heaven for the reconciliation. Those who knew me in salvation and undividedness, and those who existed for the glory of the Father and the truth, having been separated, blended into the one through the living word. And I am in the spirit and the truth of the motherhood, since unity was there, just as I was among those who are united in the friendship of friends forever. They know neither hostility at all, nor evil, but are united by my knowledge in word and peace, which exists in perfection with everyone and in them all. And those who assumed the form of my type will assume the form of my word. Indeed, these will come forth in light forever, and in friendship with each other in the Spirit, since they have known in every respect and indivisibly that the one who is one. And all of these are one. And thus they will learn about the one, as well as the assembly and those dwelling in it. For the Father of all of these exists, being immeasurable and immutable, mind and word and division and envy and fire. And he is entirely one, being all with them all in a single doctrine, because all these are from a single Spirit. O unseeing ones, why did you not know the mystery rightly? But the rulers around Yaldabaoth were disobedient because of the thought who went down to him from her sister Sophia. They made for themselves a union with those who were with them in a mixture of a fiery cloud, which was their envy, and the rest, who were brought forth by the creatures, as if they had bruised the noble pleasure of the assembly. And therefore they revealed a mixture of ignorance in a counterfeit image of fire and earth and a murderer, since they are small and untaught without knowledge, having dared these things, but not having understood that light has fellowship with light, and darkness with darkness, and the corruptible with the perishable, and the imperishable with the incorruptible. Rest with me forever. Now, these things I have presented to you, I, Jesus Christ, the human Son, who is exalted above the heavens, O perfect and incorruptible ones, because of the incorruptible and perfect and ineffable mystery. But they think that we decreed them before the foundation of the world in order that when we emerge from the places of the world, we may present there the symbols of incorruption from the spiritual union with knowledge. You do not know this because the fleshly cloud overshadows you. But I alone am the friend of Sophia. I have been in the bosom of the Father from the beginning, in the place of the children of the truth and the greatness. Rest then with me, my fellow spirits and my brothers and sisters, forever. Second Treatise of the Great Seth. Nag Hammadi Library, Gnostic Society Library, Gnosis Archive.
Wow. There's quite a few, many profound points in there. Let me just... Right. The ignorant rulers and the perfect ones. So all you guys can go check out this text or listen to it. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of audio books out there on YouTube, but the ignorant rulers and the perfect one right there, like what it was saying right there. Anyway, you guys can find all these texts on gnosis.org, or I'm going to be making a page for this kind of stuff and all this data later, but yeah. See you guys on the next one for researching the Gnostic text.